live. It is July. Whoa, still getting over that cold. But it is July 3rd, so the fireworks have already begun. You're probably going to wind up hearing some loud firecrackers and different things going off here during this live. Like I said, it is the 3rd of July. But I wanted to kind of just do a quick live to talk about all of the PlayStation 3 games that I've picked up so far this year. The PlayStation 3 is still underrated. Um, it's still one of those consoles that I think um, are still kind of under the radar. I mean, I think diehard collectors are still up on the I think diehard collectors have been on the PlayStation 3 for quite some time. Oh, Dr. Tonio, what's going on, man? Yeah, Journey, man. I'm going over some of the PlayStation 3 games, the PlayStation 3 games that I've picked up so far this year. Charles, what's up, man? Another day, another live, another 24-hour overtime shift. Get that OT, man. Get that OT. Hopefully you get that extra pay since it's holiday, technically. Um, but yeah, guys, I'm just kind of going over all of the PlayStation 3 games that I've picked up so far this year. A lot of these games that I've picked up, I got during buy two get one deals at GameStop. So I figured I'd just kind of go through them on a live as opposed to kind of making a video. And I'm also working too, uh, Charles. So this is kind of one of the things that I do to kind of pass the time a little bit. A little rough run and gun live video here that I'll go through with you guys. So I'm not gonna waste a ton of time. I'm gonna go ahead and just dive right in. So one of the first games that we have here is Journey Collector's Edition. Very artsy looking game, one that I wanted to check out, add to the collection. Um, then you have Metal Gear Rising. By the way, oh, I didn't know that. That's dope. The servers are still up. I gotta check that out. Then you have Metal Gear Rising. I picked this one up during a buy two get one. Pretty decent hack and slasher, I gotta say. Different from any other Metal Gear game that I've played, but a solid game nonetheless. Um, added it to the collection. Sorry, a solid PlayStation 3 game. And forgive me for the coughing, guys. I'm still getting over a cold here. So then you have Ragnarok Odyssey Ace. Um, I had this actually on the Vita, but I saw it on the PlayStation 3 during a buy two get one, and so I went ahead and added it. A little like kind of like action adventure RPG style game, pretty cool. Um, I do have Lollipop Chainsaw, but I don't have the Japanese version. I just have the regular American version. Then you have God of War Saga. So five pretty decent God of War games. All on, I think it's 2 discs that are coming this one. Yeah, so this is a 2 disc deal. So got this one in a buy two get one. And pretty much all these games that I'm showing you here are either like $20 and under. They're not like super expensive or anything like that. So all games that you should be able to find for relatively inexpensive. Then you have the Prince of Persia trilogy. Whenever I get a chance to like find these trilogies, I always go ahead and snag them up if I can. There's just so much value to these, getting all these games at one. So saw this for the PS3, went ahead and picked this one up as well. Added that to the collection. Then you've got Family Guy. So back to the multiverse. Went ahead and added this one because this is one that I had. I have this actually for the 360, but I don't think my 360 version was complete. So this one was in like almost like new condition. Went ahead and added it. Man, I didn't think I'd be coughing this much. Sorry about that, guys. Matthias, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing? Just looking at some PlayStation 3 games. Then you have the 3D dot game Heroes. This was one that I had never seen before on the PS3. It was an Atlas game. Wasn't in the best condition. I think this one had a little bit of water damage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like a little bit of water damage. But because it was a game that I hadn't really seen before, I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot, add it to the collection. So that's another one. Then you've got Deadly Premonition, kind of like a, like a mystery horror game on the PlayStation 3. And man, I might have to limit this live here, cut it shorter than anticipated. This coughing is just like out of control. Another pickup here, Deadpool. So I know there's a lot of ways you can play Deadpool between the Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. But I went ahead and picked this up. I needed to get another game to complete a buy two get one. So because they had GameStop, because it was in great condition too, and it was complete, I went ahead and got me a copy of Deadpool for the PlayStation 3. Here's one that unfortunately is not complete, but I do have the case and the game. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. I have all three Dynasty Warriors Gundam games, 1, 2, and 3. I have 1 and 3 on the PlayStation 3. I think I have 1 and 3 on the 360 as well. But 2, I have a copy of 2 complete on the PlayStation 2. So pretty cool. If you like Dynasty Warriors, like brawl, hack and slash style games, like where you're slashing through hordes and mobs of enemies, you will like this one. It plays a lot like Dynasty Warriors, just the Gundam version. This is one you all probably already know, Spider-Man: Edge of Time. This was the last Spider-Man game that I needed to get on the PS3 out of the Spider-Man trilogy between Web of Shadows, Shattered Dimensions, and Edge of Time. I was missing Edge of Time and went ahead and added this one. Let me know down in the comments, out of all those three, which one is your favorite? Do you prefer Edge of Time? Do you prefer Web of Shadows? Or do you prefer Shattered Dimensions? I'm really interested to know what you guys think. I actually really liked Edge of Time. They're all great, but I kind of like Edge of Time kind of stands out to me. Next up, we have a game. So this is sealed, but I did have an unsealed copy of this game that I played a long time ago, but I gave that one away during a trade and then got a sealed copy during a different trade. But this is Folklore, an action RPG. This is one that I was able to get back this year in a trade. So another decent PlayStation 3 game, one to look out for. Not one that you see often, but I think this game is available on GameStop's website, and they're actually having the buy two get one on their website now. So definitely, I would jump on that because it's a good deal. I think they've got it for under 40 bucks. It's like 37 or something. This game was actually really cool. So I actually got this game for free. Long story short, somebody had taken a bunch of games into GameStop. This game was included with it. Because this is a limited run game, it probably didn't come up in GameStop's system at that time. And so they basically threw this game in the giveaway bucket. Like a lot of the GameStops in my area, they have like a giveaway bucket on the counter for all the games that they don't accept. And it's like first come, first serve. So I walked in, and I guess a lot of people were just passing this game up because they thought it was like a nothing burger PlayStation 3 game. But then I saw it was Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and I was like, dude, you guys are giving this away for free, and it was in great condition. It was complete. Like I said, this is a limited run game. So they were like, yeah, you can have it. So I said, sure, I'll take it. And if I'm not mistaken, this is like a $50 or $60 game. So that was a very cool find for free at GameStop. So I went ahead and added that one. Then you have... You guys are going to kill me because I'm like coughing you guys to death. You're probably like, dude, this guy needs to go get some cough drops. But you have Spyro, Dawn of the Dragon. This is actually a really cool version of Spyro. This is like a surprisingly expensive game on the PlayStation 3. I don't know why it's so expensive. Because it's still like 50 to 60 bucks. But I did find this buy two get one at GameStop. This one was complete with the manual. So was definitely stoked to add this one into the collection as well. I don't have a huge PlayStation 3 collection, but it's a decent sized PlayStation 3 collection. And then last but not least, 50 Cent, Blood in the Sand. This game is like hard to track down for some reason. I don't know why. Like this was like one of the first times that I had found it complete in box at a GameStop. I think the 360 version gets like a lot more love and attention for some reason than like the PlayStation 3 version, but both are like they both go for somewhere between like 70 and 80 online. And I only know because I really wanted to get this game to try it out. It's 50 Cent. It's from New York. I'm a New Yorker, so I support 50 Cent. I'm a fan of all the like the rap games, Def Jam, Fight for New York, Vendetta, Def Jam Icon, all those games. So definitely good stuff. I would say GameStop definitely provides a great value with their buy two get one, especially on some of these more like expensive PS3 titles that you just don't see super often at GameStop. And then when you do, they're still trying to charge you like an arm and a leg for some of these games. So overall, though, they have been good with the promotion. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, I say go ahead, jump on it, check them out, see what they have for you, see what you're able to do. Now, just shifting gears real quick, let me check some of these comments out. I never got to play a PS3 Spider-Man game as a kid. I had Ultimate Spider-Man on a PS2. Ultimate Spider-Man is pretty good. I actually have Ultimate Spider-Man on the GameCube. It's actually a decent game. I think there was a special edition on the PlayStation 2 as well. Came with like a hard cover or something like that. Let me see here. Charles, Ultimate Spidey is so dope. I played it a lot. Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man actually is really good. The the art style is awesome. Like that cell shaded art style, I think it's amazing. Can you check that God of War collection again for whether it includes a download code? Let me see. Does it include a download code? Let me check off the screen. I don't want to show the download code. Let's see. Does it have a download code? It does have a download code. So hopefully it works. I don't know. It was in like new condition. So I don't know if whoever had this before used it, but I could definitely check it out. Opa Spate says Deuce. Don't know what that means. God of War collection is 1, 2, 3 on discs, and the two PSP games on download code expired. So so need to buy the PSP collection. I actually have the PSP collection. Well, I don't have both games. I think I only have Chains of Olympus. I don't know if I have Ghost of Sparta. I have to check. Makes you wonder if the price online is FOMO pricing. If this is happening locally, they have to price it lower than price charting in order for it to move. Skur, are you referring to which games are you referring to with that? Let me know. Nam Omar, what's going on? The 360 version is backwards compatible with the Series X. That's why it's so expensive on Xbox. Oh, you must be talking about Blood on the Sand. Got you. I think that's what you're talking about. The rarest game I found was Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush 2 for the PlayStation 4? Because I don't think that came out on the PlayStation 3. I think that only came out on the PlayStation 4. Doug Antonio, even if it wasn't used, it probably expired. Yeah, you're probably right. Shalashalaka. I'm just gonna say SL. Can I borrow a game? Sure, man. Sure, you can borrow a game. I don't mind. GameStop doing their pricing. So you're right about that, and we could talk about that in a second. Just Dave, yo, what's up, Y2K? What's up, Just Dave? How you doing, man? Blood on the Sand is a great underrated game. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I really like the music. You know what I mean? You get like some really cool G Unit music that you didn't really get anywhere else. But we could talk about GameStop pricing. So, and I just did a video on this the other day. Like, does it make sense to still go to GameStop for retro games or even like PlayStation 3 games? And I feel like today in 2025, and you guys could chime in down in the comments, let me know, because a lot of times I post these videos and I get like mixed reviews all the time. And I really do think it's based on where you live. But I feel like it makes sense to buy certain games from GameStop, but only when there's a buy two get one, because they do overprice certain games and they don't keep up with the pricing of a lot of the games that they have. So like here's a good example, right? Like just using this as an example. So you have Star Wars Episode 3. Now, if you find this on GameStop's website, the most they'll have it for is probably like $9.99 maybe, or like $6.99 for this game. And you know how GameStop does it. It's $6.99 whether it's complete or whether it's just the loose cart. But loose cart for this game is somewhere between like 13 and 16 bucks. But then complete in box, of the listings that I've seen online and some of these are actually in Canada, um, it ranges right between like 20 and like $40. But like when you factor in taxes and shipping and handling and stuff, I guess that's where you get to like the $40. But this game was like always a really cheap game, and it's still technically a cheap game at GameStop, but they haven't caught up to it. So this would be the type of game that I would say like, okay, if you found this at GameStop for $6, that would be a buy, whether whether it's a promotion or not. Like buy it just because it's at a good deal. But then you have games like other games that they have priced just marginally lower than what price charting would have some of these games at. So like 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, they would have a game like this for $55, right? But Blood on the Sand ranges on like say eBay will have it somewhere between like 55 and like $80 or something like that. So, I mean, odds are you're gonna pay like maybe $10, $15 less through GameStop. You'll get the like the 5% cash back. If you're a pro member, you know, you get it in points, so on and so forth. So then it, it kind of marginally makes sense to get it at GameStop at that point. Now, when they do a buy two, get one, and you compare like Blood in the Sand with Spyro and then like Spider-Man Edge of Time, now you're getting these three games for the price of two, um, which that's a huge savings right there. And then obviously you're getting the points and everything. So I think it makes sense to definitely buy retro games from them when there's a promotion going on, and you can kind of maximize the deal that way, take advantage of the points, use the points, use like your $5 a month discount and things like that. That's where it makes sense. But I think it's stopped making sense for a lot of other games, which is why like even if you go to their retro website, there are some games that you will just see sitting on the website. Like Mario 64, Super Mario 64 sits on the website. Like sorry, like the Mario Party games, they sit on the website. The Zelda games for the GameCube, a lot of GameCube games just sit on the website because there's really no like, you know, there's really no incentive to buy it from GameStop's website, especially when you run the risk of the game not coming complete, and what they have it listed for isn't much cheaper than what you would pay like on eBay and stuff. So you just kind of have to pick and choose your battles with them. Honestly, I've been like, you know, using them a lot for a lot of my retro stuff, but that's just because I'm lazy. I don't really care to go to mom and pops right now, and I'm not doing anything at yard sales. Let's see. When it comes to Lollipop Chainsaw Premium Edition, the DLC is on the disc, but you got to pay $10 to get a 100 KB code that unlocks it from the PS Store through a Japanese account. Wow, didn't know that. Just Dave said can't complain. Just got Afro Samurai on the 360. Nice. That's a nice one. That's definitely a good one. Alexandre says my GameStop doesn't even have retro anymore. Just modern stuff. They got rid of all the retro years ago, so it's good. Good yours still got retro stuff. So like, not every GameStop around me actually has retro. There's in the within the five boroughs of New York and like Long Island and like Westchester County, New York, and like Connecticut, there's probably like maybe like I don't know, five to somewhere between 5 and 10 GameStop retro locations. And what I've noticed more and more is that because they've kind of limited their retro to these locations, there's like a certain number of like resellers that hit all of those same locations. And so the employees kind of like recognize that. And some stores are cool, some stores will hook you up, some stores won't. Some stores will like, you can feel that they're actively like telling you they don't have things that you know that they do have. So it just depends on really where you go, but it's kind of like a luck of the draw, man. But not having any retro stuff is tough. So Alexandre, what I would say for you, my friend, is the website is going to be your best friend. You are going to be one of those folks who just has to take a gamble and gamble on their website. The sure bets, like the games that you know will be a sure bet, will be all cartridge based games. So with like Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games, Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, the biggest risk that you run with buying those types of games on the website is that either one, the game will be fake, or two, the label will look like a dog had been chewing on it for about 15 years. Those are the risks you run. Body Moore says 50 Cent 360 is backwards compatible. Yes, yes, thank you for that one. Dr. Antonio says, do you still find demo discs in retro stores? I find more demo discs in thrift stores than I do retro game stores. Like I'm sure retro game stores have them, but I've found a lot more demo discs just going to a thrift store. Unfortunately, there's basically nothing here to buy before 8th gen. Yikes, that's kind of rough, man. I'm sorry to hear that. A smoke break. What's going on, man? He says, I got out of collecting, man. I'm lucky to have been in my 30s during the golden era of collecting. Craigslist in the late 2000s. It's a pirate's life for me now. Priced me out of everything. Um so yeah, you know, like coming out of the late 2000s, I really wasn't hyper focused on video games like that. Funny enough, like coming out of the late 2000s and like into the 2010s, I was honestly hyper focused on buying a house because I knew like after the housing crash of 2008 that houses would probably never really be that cheap again in my lifetime. So I knew that I had like a 10 year, like a 5 to 10 year window to lock down a property at probably the best prices that I would see for like the foreseeable future. And luckily, like in the 2010s, I was able to do that. And also, like, oddly enough, that was like some of the best times in terms of like interest rates as well. So I was really hyper focused on that at the time. Uh, and then once I did that, I felt like a little bit more liberty to start like pursuing other collecting hobbies. So, um, yeah, I've really slowed down a lot. Like I remember I used to have like pickup videos, like the Y2K Collector cruise that people rather who have been here for years. You guys know I used to drop a pickup video like almost every day. Like it was crazy. Like I would like every day, like every other day, I would have a new pickup. It's actually slowed down a lot, like over the past 6 months to a year. They did this for Skyrim Special Edition. They have big file update with all the anniversary edition, and have a small file to unlock them. Scummy. You know how they do it, man. The small file is locked and you have to pay for it. Yeah, paywalls, bro. That's how they do it. Smoke breaks is flea markets and pawn shops back then were amazing though. Goodwills too actually had games. So like this is true, right? Like there was a time where I lived in the Midwest, like Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, like those parts of the country. And those states, like the Bible Belt states, were a gold mine for all things retro. Not just like retro video games, but retro anything. Like retro clothing. Like you could find really cool like retro 80s t-shirts. Like if you were into suits, you could find like Purple Label Ralph Lauren suits at like secondhand stores. You could find like just valuable clothing because there would be people who would have like these really like just really good taste and then they would donate this stuff away. And like I remember in specifically like in Indiana, there used to be this store called like Value Village. And then I think they changed it. They changed the name and then they started to call it Value World. But that would be a place with like a really quality like secondhand clothes. There was like this part of Indiana that had like just a lot of really cool retro stuff for just like really cheap. And in like the mid 2000s, like between like say like 2000 and like two to like 2008, man, those were some glory days to just get anything retro because like people just didn't care about old stuff at that time. People were so caught up with everything from the turn of the millennium, right? Like once 2000 came, it was like everything 90s and 80s became irrelevant. No one cared. And so it was really, really easy to like get your hands on all kinds of retro stuff. Like not again, like not just video games, like turntables, camcorders, handy cams, records, record players, like just all anything you could think of, anything that's just like cool, hip, anything that you would see in like a throwback type of store. That stuff was dirt cheap back then. Like it's crazy. I remember back then, um, it's crazy. I remember because I was like in school back then. I remember going to a store, buying a PlayStation 2, a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, two PlayStation 2 controllers, and a copy of Kingdom Hearts. And I think I spent like $46, bro. Like it was crazy. And I remember for like a whole semester, I played Kingdom Hearts and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like that was it. Um, I don't even know what happened to that stuff to this day. Like that stuff is gone. Like that's what happens when you like have an apartment in college. Like when you leave, like stuff just goes missing. For those of you who know, you know. Um, it says depends on the GameStop. They probably are hiding them. Yeah, for sure. So like for sure, like I think GameStop hides stuff a lot. Like no doubt. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if certain GameStop employees were in cahoots with certain resellers and like the resellers gave them a kickback for holding certain games. I wouldn't doubt that. Like I could easily see that happening. Like at least out here on the East Coast, man, everybody's a hustler. They're gonna find another way to make a quick buck. They will do that stuff. I have no doubt about it. Just Dave said, y'all think GameStop Retro is good? I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I think GameStop Retro is it's like neutral right now. Like it's kind of like it's neutral. Like you can't go that you can't like think of a game you want and say, "Oh, I know, I'm going to get this game from GameStop Retro." You kind of just have to move based off of what they have and hope they have something that you're interested in and then hope that it's real and that it's in good condition and that, you know, it works. Like so there's like a series there's like a process you have to go through when shopping at GameStop now. I would say 2 or 3 years ago, it was hella good, man. You could find all types of stuff for way under price charting values. But now like they've caught up. So it's decent. Like but I do think at the end of the day, it's still cheaper than mom and pop shops. Mom and pop shops are always going to be more expensive. Um, and it's better than like flea markets and stuff in the fact that if it's broken or you just don't like it, you can return it. You really can't do that at a lot of places. Um, the samurai gamer, what's going on? He says, what game is that behind God of War Saga? Oh yeah, this is yeah, so this is the 3D dot game, like some pixel game by Atlas. That's what that is. Most of my retro game purchases have been through eBay. Yeah, I gotta stay away from eBay, man. I haven't really done eBay since wow, maybe 2022. It's been a long time. Like I don't do eBay at all. Charles says, I like GameStop for retro. I check my GameStops all the time, but I do find quite a bit of good stuff. You can get lucky, man. Like some of them have they have some junk. Some of those GameStops, they be having some stuff, man. Like I'm going on vacation and I'm gonna try to find a GameStop on this island. And I'm gonna hope that they have the motherload, man. Like I'm leaving room in my luggage just for like GameCube games and all types of stuff because some game stops really do have the motherload. They will, but some they hold out on you. They will. Brooklyn Game Collector says, "How's everything going, Y2K? Man, I am fighting a cold, bro. Like it, this is some BS. Like literally the first like real day of summer, boom, my daughter smacks me with a cold, and I'm getting over it now. It's not as bad as it was. I think I'm at like the dry cough stage, you know, where like it's like itchy. So we'll see what happens there. Nice collection of games. Thanks, man. Dr. Antonio says, oh, cool. I'm looking for a copy of Interactive CD Sampler Volume 11. Have you seen one of those lying around? I have not. The last like grouping of like sampler discs that I had were for the PlayStation 1, and then I got another batch for the original Xbox. But all of that has been put into a trade, and I traded those away. Charles Hollis says, I walked out with a stack of really nice shape mid PS1 titles, CIB, along with Silent Hill. The girl I always talk to in there, so I had a stack and she asked if I wanted a bag of games. They couldn't. Listen, like, yeah, when you have people that look out for you, it's dope, man. Like, it's dope, seriously. Sometimes you find some really cool stuff. I would say probably the rarest PlayStation 1 game that I found at a GameStop, you guys have seen it, uh, was Tales of Destiny 2. That was probably the most rare game that I've ever PlayStation 1 game that I've ever gotten from a GameStop. Tales of Destiny 2 and then probably Parasite Eve. Yeah, those were definitely two. Just Day says 2017 and 18 was the best period for retro hunting. In my opinion, that's when I started. You know, the beginning is always the best, I gotta say. It almost doesn't matter when the beginning is, if it's like 2002, 2010, 2017. Whenever you just start retro game hunting and you don't have a lot of the games you want, it's like super exciting to go game hunting because you don't have much, or you don't have all the stuff that you want. It's kind of like it's kind of uneventful a lot of times, especially if I do go to GameStop, because a lot of the stuff that they have is stuff that I've already collected. So it's kind of like, I already got this, or maybe I might get something for a condition upgrade, but nothing too exciting. A smoke break says, "Yep, Louisiana here, Louisiana baby. What's going on?" He says, "I got almost every GameCube game literally from pawn shops and flea markets for $5 a pop. It was insane back then." I believe you, bro. I believe you. Louisiana. I would love to go to a GameStop in Louisiana. It's probably got to be sick out there. I wonder what thrifting is like out there. It's probably really dope. I haven't been to Louisiana since like 2007 or something like that. It's been a long time since I've been to Louisiana. He says, take in the bag was a CIB copy of what? Wow. So did she literally give you a free copy of Tail Concerto? You know that game is like on my wish list still. That's a game that I still have. I always forget that I really want that game. That and Mr. Adventures of Trombone. But dude, Tail Concerto, she gave that to you? You need to go make that girl like your best friend, man. That's a supreme hookup. Seriously. Like, that's dope. I'm happy for you, Charles. I'm happy you were able to get that hookup because that's a dope hookup. Dr. Antonio says, "My fault. I was too young to get a job and buy a house." No, wait. I respect that, bro. I respect that. Yeah, no, like, same here. Same here. I was too young. So I didn't graduate from college until '08. And it was, I was still too young. I didn't get a house until like the mid 2010s. So I was still in my 20s, but it took a lot of work. I didn't buy anything, didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything. Brooklyn Game Collector, do you have the Spyro Remaster collection? Do I? I don't think I do. I don't think I have that. I think I had it at one point, but I think I sold it. That is if you're talking about the one for the PlayStation 4. If you're talking about the one that came out on the PS4, then I had that one and sold it. He said, watch the recent Game Chaser episode, um, and they have a rough time finding any retro game. They only find VHS now. I can see where Pixel Game Squad got their inspiration from. That's funny. I think I just saw something with Pixel Game Squad. I don't know who these guys know, bro. They're always finding people who have these storage units and have buckets and buckets of retro games. I don't know if that's just a really good network of people. I don't know if that's just the luck of the draw. But to be honest, if I could do that, I would do it too. I'm not even gonna hate. Like if I was able to find somebody who had like a garage bin full with like, or like a storage unit full of games, I would take advantage of that too. I just don't know how they do it consistently like every other day. Like that's the part that blows my mind. Alexandra says, "I'm really glad to have an insane retro video game store in my region because otherwise I would need to always shop online and it's not always the best thing." You're right. It's not. Shopping online isn't the best option. Always. Sometimes it is fun to get out there and hunt, but can we all be honest for a minute? All 20 of us that are in this live right now, wasn't game hunting more fun like a little bit right after COVID? Like not during COVID, but like right when they just started to ease up on COVID and you could like actually like go out a little bit, because technically there still wasn't much you could do. Like you really couldn't do a lot. Like no theme parks were open, no clubs were open, no social areas were open. And so it still felt like, there was just a lot of opportunity. It was fun. And even when you came like on YouTube, I remember coming on YouTube and there were so many channels that I used to follow with people who used to go out and game hunt all the time. And so many of those channels are gone now. But it really was fun doing it in person. I cannot do it all the time, like, because I'm a dad, two kids, two small kids. I like actually like literally have an infant, so I can't do it all the time. But when you can do it, it's a ton of fun. And I'm actually going to be dropping an edited video on the channel this weekend, just kind of talking about that. Brooklyn Game Collector, do you think retro games are going up in price because Switch 2 and the other consoles are rising their prices with their games, I think it's a mixed bag with retro games. I'm just gonna say that. If you make a video saying that retro game prices are going up, you're gonna get half the comments that say you're smoking too much ganja and prices are not going up. If you make a video and say the prices are crashing, they're gonna say, man, you're an idiot. I just tried to buy my favorite game and found out that it went up another $10 in price. I think it all depends on the console, and not even just the console, but the types of games that you're buying. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Even if you want to use like the Super Nintendo, for example, are prices going up for copies of Super Mario World? No, they're not. Are prices going up maybe for SWAT cats? Maybe. Or Biker Mice from Mars? Maybe. Hagane? Maybe. But I can't see prices going up for like Final Fight or Super Mario All Stars. Like it just depends on the console and it depends on the game. I think overall, like if I had to take an average of all the video games across all the consoles, I do think in general they're going down. I think prices are going down. And I think that's just a byproduct of people leaving the hobby, people not having the disposable income, people wanting to spend money on other things. Remember, we didn't have money to spend things on. You know what I mean? Before, like 2020, 2021, 2022, we didn't have money to, like, we weren't going on vacation. Well, that's a lie. I did go on vacation. But what I'm saying is, like, you weren't spending money on other things. Like, now, if I'm going to spend 7 grand to take my family on vacation, I'm not spending another 3 grand on video games. So it just, it's kind of, it's all over the place. I don't think prices are going up, but I don't think they're going down. I just think it depends on what you're buying, what you're buying, and not only what you're buying, but where you're buying it. Where are you buying it? And I'm not talking about what store you're buying it from. I'm talking about what part of the country are you buying it in? Are you buying it in Louisiana? Are you buying it in Indiana? Are you buying it in Manhattan? Are you buying it in San Diego? Are you buying it in Miami? Like all of those things matter because the same game is going to cost a different price in a different part of the country. Somebody in like North Dakota who has a copy of, you know, I don't know, Earthbound might not care to get $100 for the Earthbound. They might sell it for $40. They might not care. They're in North Dakota. What do they care? There's too many variables for it to be painted with a broad brush. Gant Pill says, can you predict the Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Shadow Dimensions, and Edge of Time value over time and the Wii versions? I can't, bro. I can't. I'm not Nostradamus like that. I don't know. Um, I could say this. This is what I will say. Games that get locked to consoles, meaning like they don't get ported to the next console or they don't get any of the ports, games that get locked to their console typically tend to maintain their value. I think that's a big part of the reason why certain Sega Saturn games and certain Sega CD games are still very expensive. Like, there aren't a lot of ways to play Burning Rangers outside of buying a Sega Saturn or emulating it. And unless something has changed in the emulation space, like last I checked, Sega Saturn emulation wasn't that good. So you guys can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong there. I don't know. I'm not the most astute when it comes to all things emulation, but last I checked it, that's not yeah, it's not something that I think you have a lot of options with for the Sega Saturn, or like Guardian Heroes, or certain Sega CD games like Popful Mail, or some of those games, like they're locked to those consoles. You can't get them anywhere else. And if you're a person who wants to experience that game, it's only one way you could get it. So I think it really just depends on the scarcity, like anything else, right? Supply and demand, anything else. The easier you can get to a game, the less expensive it is, so on and so forth. He says it's strange how Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 1 has not gone up in price as it was late in PS1 life. Didn't sell nearly as much as the first game. It was the first game to explore the streets. You're right. I remember when I was building a PlayStation 2 collection, they said Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2 was one of the best Spider-Mans out. Um, but yeah, it just goes back to you can't really predict these things. Dr. Antonio said, I got to go to sleep now. Listen, enjoy the nap, man. Have a good night. I know it's probably like, I think you're in like Brazil or something. So, yeah, it's probably really late over there. He says, yeah, bro, free. Wow, free. So you got a free copy of Tail Concerto. Man, congrats to you, bro. He said, I went back, took them a cookie cake, and bought her dinner. That's the right thing to do. She gave you like a $700 game for free, bro. Yeah, dinner and cupcakes sounds about right. That's definitely what you need to do for getting a free copy, CIB copy of Tail Concerto. She gave you the major hookup. Screw says, if price is going out of control, don't be surprised piracy on the rise. Yeah, but we know that. Like, we know piracy is going to go. I don't think piracy is ever going to go away. And I think that over time, as more consoles start to behave like the way we're seeing the Switch 2 behave, all those little gadgets that you guys see, the Ambernick and the Mew and all these little gadgets, all those gadgets are going to start going up in price, because those are going to be the only way that you can pirate your video games. Because Switch 2, like Nintendo, as we see with the Switch, they're putting a kibosh on all that. Alexandria says, retro games have literally the worst kind of fluctuation of price. They do. You never know which game will be victim next. It's like a serial killer figuring out who he's going to hit next. It's wild. That's funny, but it's true. You can't predict it, but you can't predict the stock market either. That's why you just got to buy the games you like. Buy what you like, and if it goes up, it goes up. If it doesn't go up, then it doesn't go up. At least you still have a game that you like, Brooklyn Game Collector. I know the N64 Japanese game costs less than the American games. The Japanese version of Mario 64 got Rumble, and the American version don't. Wow, I didn't know that. That is a fun fact. That is a fun fact. Well, listen, it was good hanging out with you all on this Friday, this Thursday, 4th of July Eve. I plan on sitting on a beach somewhere tomorrow, listening to the ocean waves crash, taking in some sun, playing some beach ball with the kiddos. We'll probably be on the beach all day, and until they do the fireworks. They do fireworks on the beach. It's magical, especially for children. So if you have an opportunity to do that, I say go ahead and do that. And I may just bring a handheld with me to the beach tomorrow. Maybe I'll bring two. Who knows? We'll see. We'll be there all day. So it only makes sense to bring some entertainment outside of the beach activities that we're going to be engaged in. So we'll see. Charles said, sorry. Charles said, I say the biggest swing for game prices happens when something gets a remaster. Yeah, that is true. That does happen. Thank you, man. Yeah, I will soak up the family time. Yeah, soak up some family time, guys. I think this actually is the official kickoff of the summer. Like, the summer actually starts now when we go through the 4th of July weekend. I'm so happy that it actually landed on a Friday this year, because you get a nice little 3-day weekend, and then it's back to business as usual. So enjoy, have a good weekend, and I will catch you all in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.